Hello everyone, this is Jagtar Singh and I am pursuing aerospace engineering from Centennial College, and in this video we are going to talk about our labor rights because most of the international students are working here as general labor with the temporary agencies, and they are really very unaware of their labor rights, as a result of which they just face humiliation, they do the unsafe work. So the reason being why I decided to make this specific video, because personally I was working in a company through the temporary agency, and at that company, some of the temporary workers were humiliating international students like anything. So when I just stood against that, when I spoke like this is pure humiliation and that is not what they are supposed to do, so what they did, they just terminated me. And that was the day when I just came back to home and I decided to read what are my labor rights are in Canada and working in the company. And that is the reason I just want to share those labor rights with you, so that because I do not want us international students to suffer, because I do understand we are already very scared, like we do not want to get into any illegal thing, or we do not want to do anything which challenges our status here as international student. So that's the reason. So that is very important for you to know what are our rights and what are the things we are not entitled to do while we are at work, and what are the things we can stand against when it comes to our safety. First point is, like, whenever you are signing up with the temporary agency, they cannot charge you any fees and you are not tied to pay any of the dollars to them. Another point is talking about getting paid in cash. That is completely legal here in Canada until unless you are working the minimum number of hours that which is required by the Canadian government. It is legal to be paid in cash, but it's really very important for temporary agencies to give you pay slips, which includes what number of hours you have worked and what is the minimum wages that you were getting, and what were all the deductions that have been deducted, like EI and CPP, federal withholding tax. And if you are unaware about these terms, I have discussed these terms in my previous videos about taxes, so you can consult them as well. Another right that you have is the right to do the safe work. So if you feel like this work is really very unsafe for you, just refuse it. No one can just say you like you have to do this work and everything like that. Even manager can say that he can challenge you, like we will terminate you from the job, but still you can still say it is unsafe for me and I'm not going to do that. Is your labor right. So that's the reason no one can say anything to you. Another point is, whenever you are getting paid, it is temporary agency's duty to pay you vacation pay, and vacation pay is the 4% of the total regular pay that they are paying. So that's the reason, for example, you are earning $300 for a week supposedly, and you will be getting 4% of the 300. It will be included in your pay. Another right that you have is that you have the right to take public holidays off, and if you will be taking public holidays off, no one can say like we are going to terminate you or anything like that, because that is your legal right. And it is, if you are working on a public holiday, you can get 1.5 times your regular pay, plus you are entitled for the stat pay. Stat pay is calculated by calculating your wages in the previous 4 weeks that you have worked divided by 20. So this is how the stat pay is calculated. Either you are working on a public holiday or you are not. Stat pay is the one thing that you are getting for sure. Another point is about the unpaid wages, because many times it happens like temporary agency are suffering from their losses and they are unable to pay their workers the minimum wages that they have promised, or the workers they have worked. So in that case, the client company is where you are working, and that they are responsible for paying you your wages. So it will not happen like you have worked but your pay is not paid to you, your wages are not paid. So that is not going to work here. You can always, if anyone is not paying you your minimum wages, you can go for Ministry of Labor and you can claim there. So if you are terminated by any temporary agency, so in that case you are entitled to get 1 week's termination pay or notice. So that's the one thing. And if you are terminated without any reason, so you can always qualify for the EI, that is employment insurance. God forbid, if you get sick or get injured on your workplace, so you are entitled for getting a compensation under WSIB, that stands for Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. You can always claim for insurance there, and WSIB will never ask you about your status, whether you're an international student or native, or if you do not have any status here in Canada but still you're working, WSIB will still compensate for the loss that you have. So it is also very possible like your manager or your boss tries to convince you like to not report it to anyone, this accident or this injury, but you are not going to listen to them because you are intelligent, you know what your labor rights are. So that's the reason. So now the most common point is, many times what happens is we are getting humiliated or harassed by the manager or by our employer in the company. You just need to stand against them. You do not need to fear anyone. Just contact Ministry of Labor, just write letter to them. And there are many of the alliances here, like we do have Work Action Center, Migrant Rights. So these are some of the associations that work with people for the workers. So that is the reason you can always contact them, because all the calls and all the communication that we have with them is all confidential. So that's the reason you can always approach them if you have any problem regarding your workplace, or you're getting mistreated, or your labor rights are violated, because they are the ones who are going to stand with you in order to push back and fight against these big client